Sparklines are basically line charts and column charts shrunken down into a single cell. When you don't want a full-fledged column or a line chart to be shown for your data, what you can do is create a sparkline which will show a line chart or a column chart, but the space of it will be limited to a single cell. So it won't be an entire chart, but it will still be a chart limited inside a cell. There are three types of sparklines that you can make: a line sparkline, a column sparkline, and something called as a win-loss sparkline. Let's see how we can create them in Excel.
The data that we are dealing with here is the same as what we had for heat maps. We have 10 different cities to my left, and we have January till December at the top. Along with that, we have the average temperatures for each month for each city. Now, if I want to see the trend of the temperature for each and every city individually, there are three ways to do it: two wrong ways and one the right way. Let's look at the wrong ways first. One way to do it is to select your data individually. So if I want to make a line chart for, say, for the city of Anchorage, I'll be selecting that data, going to insert line chart and insert a line chart like this. Then if I want to insert a line chart for Boston to see the trend of it from January till December, I have to select data of the first row, which is the headers. Then for Boston, not selecting Anchorage, again go to insert and insert a line chart. You will have to keep on doing this for all the different cities that you have. And this might be a bit tedious. You can do so for 10 different cities, which again would take you at least 3 to 5 minutes. But what if you have a lot of cities? And if you want to quickly see the trend of all these cities' temperatures in your Excel file, how do you do that? This way is not the way to go because one, it is time consuming. Secondly, you will have your worksheet filled with all these charts. Imagine having 20 cities and having 20 different line charts for each and every city. That is not the way to go. Another thing that you can possibly do is select your entire data, then go to insert and insert a line chart or a column chart. If I insert a line chart, you have something like this, which actually helps you look at all the trends in one chart for all the cities, but it's just a bit messy. You will not be able to understand what is what until and unless you look at the legend. Now, if you have 20 items, finding what color is for what city in the legend will also take you a lot of time. And this is not individual analysis. Your everything is together. So this is again not the way to go. Instead of doing these two methods, there's another method that you can use, which is called a sparkline. I can go to insert. I'll be inserting a sparkline here. Go to insert, not under charts, but under sparklines, you have three options: line, column, and win/loss. You can either insert a line chart or a column chart. We'll be looking at win/loss in a minute. First, let me add a line chart in this cell. It will ask me for two things: data range, as in what data do you want to visualize here. So it will be everything from this cell till this cell. So 23 of January till 25 of December. Second thing it will ask you is the location range, as to where you want to insert the line chart, in which cell. We already discussed that sparklines are nothing but these line and column charts fit into one small cell. It's not an individual chart, but just a chart in a single cell, embedded inside a cell. I'll be selecting the existing cell that I have currently selected, which is this, which will be O4. Click on OK, and you have a line chart here. This helps you analyze the data that you have selected. You can quickly see the trend of it. It does not have any y-axis or x-axis. It does not complicate things. It simply helps you visualize the trend of your data. If you want to have the same thing for all the different cities, the earlier way was to create a line chart for each and every single item, which would take you a lot of time. But when it comes to a sparkline, you can simply go to the bottom right square, click on it and drag it down to have the same thing done for different cities here. So this cell, this line chart that you see will take data from this row. The next one will take data from this row. The next one from this row, and so on. Now I can see the trend of all these cities in a line chart next to it. This quickly helps me analyze my data. I can straight away see that the first 8 cities that we have follow a simple trend where the temperature peaks out in the month of June, July. As you can see, that's the highest point for each and every city for the first 8 cities. But the last 2 cities that we have, Sydney and Auckland, have a completely opposite temperature, complete opposite trend. When most of the other cities are having their highest temperature, these 2 cities are having their lowest temperatures. As you can see, they have the lowest temperature in the month of June, July, roughly. That might be because of the change in hemispheres. So Chicago, Boston, New York City, all in America, Sydney, Auckland in Australia. So maybe that is the reason why you have different types of trend here. If you want to insert a column chart to have a look at the same trend, just go to a cell, again go to insert, column sparkline. This time the data range will again be the same. Location range would be this cell. As you can see, we have already inserted P4. Click on OK, and you have a column chart here. If I drag it down, you have the same way, same trend to look at for all the other cities. That's how you can insert a line or a column sparkline. Now, let's look at the third option that we have, which is the win/loss sparkline. Imagine that you are a trader in the equity markets. You trade equity stocks. So let's say I'm recording my trades for 5 different days. Date 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the first day, I made $20. On the next, I lost $5, so I made a loss of $5. Then I made a profit of $50. The next day, I made a loss of $70. And finally, I made a profit of $2. If I want to visualize this trend, how did I make my profit, my loss, the trend of it? If I want to visualize that, I can go to the cell next to it, insert, select win/loss sparkline. Data range will be these 5 cells and location range will be this cell. Click on OK. And you have these rectangles inserted in the cell. The blue rectangle tells you that there is an increase of something. And the red cell will tell you that there is a decrease of something. So you have the blue rectangle, red rectangle. The problem with the win/loss sparkline is that you cannot look at the quantity of or the magnitude of profit or loss. It will show you the same rectangle irrespective of the amount of profit or loss that you are making. As you can see, we have -$5, that is loss of $5 and loss of $70. Both of them at the same time have the same area of rectangle. The size of these 2 rectangles is the same. So it does not differentiate between a small loss and a big loss. At the same time, it will not differentiate between a big win or a small win or even another smaller win. All 3 of them will have the same rectangle. This will only tell you if you are positive or negative. That is, if you are winning or losing. The magnitude is not shown. And because of that reason, this sparkline is not that widely used, but it's always good to know that you can use a sparkline like this for your data as well. If you want to remove a sparkline, simply go to the cell. Under sparkline tools, go to design. Under the group icon, click on clear and it will clear out the sparkline. You can go to this, again click on clear, or go to the drop down And you have two options: clear selected sparklines, that is the one that you selected here, or clear selected sparkline groups. So if you have a group of something, you can do that as well. I can simply select all these cells, go to clear, and it will clear the first one. If I want to clear everything in the selected range, I have to select my entire data. Just a sec. Select all these cells, go to design, and clear selected sparklines. It will clear all the sparklines selected in that range. I can do the same for this. Select all of it, go to design, click on the drop down and click on clear selected sparklines. And all of them will go away. That's how you can insert or remove a sparkline. In the next lecture, we'll be looking at dynamic charts, more specifically drop down dynamic charts, which help you change your chart based on your data.